Hi dear students, last class we have seen the communication barriers. Okay, that's all about that session 1. So we are moving to the next session 2, importance of communication skills. We know that good communication skills are the requirements to one's personal, academic and professional success. If you are going after the studies now, if you are going to an interview, if you don't have the good communication skills, it will be a failure. Okay, so the communication skills very important. The basic skills required at the entry level of today's jobs are communication skills, and this includes all aspects of the communication, that is verbal, non-verbal as well as the listening skills. So last session we have seen the verbal communication as well as the non-verbal communication. You remember that? What do you mean by verbal communication? So the communication when we use the terms or using language or some sounds, so that term does verbal communication. What do you mean by non-verbal communication? And other format of giving the communication is some action, showing some actions, right? So showing some action also we can understand something. Okay, so that is considered as a non-verbal communication. Along all these, we must improve our listening skills. Understood? Then only we are able to give response, proper response. Okay, so communication skills are very important. However, a small or big a business may be, its success depends on the efficiency of its communication system, both within and outside the organization. For example, in the case of an organization, they should have many letters to be sent, right? And many interviews need to be taken. So that times, if they don't have the communication skills, what about their feedback about that organization? It will be a very bad, right? So communication skills are very important, and proper communication results clarity and understanding. So first session, 7 C's of effective communication, we have seen the clarity. What do you mean by clarity? The language should be clear. The sender and the receiver should be able to understand the language, right? So that is clarity. And understanding, both are related. If the language is clear, that only the other side person will be understand. Okay. So your session 2 is very small, only shows the importance of the communication skills. And we are moving to the session 3, the methods of communication. Session 3, methods of communication. So communication can be categorized on the basis of channel used, direction of the information flow and the means used to communicate. So channel used, which type of language, which way you are communicating. Based on that also we can just divide the communication. Then direction of the information flow. You are speaking to whom? Based on that also we can just categorize, and means used to communicate, the different way how you are using. Sometimes it can be a symbol, sound, like that also we can divide the communication level. Okay. So methods of the communication. See, you can see the different pictures now. Different way of communicating. See, here written communication through letters. Letters also we can communicate. Electronic. Now we are using the electronic communication, right? Online classes, text messages, chatting, everything online. So that can be the communication. Verbal communication. What do you mean by that? Okay. That means using some language. Then visual communication, showing some road also you can see some signs now. Those who are riding the vehicles, they understood the meaning of the signs. So there also visual communication. And the other example, when you are using the internet, whether it is accessible or it is connected, that also some symbols, from some symbols we can identify, right? And body language, that seems to be expressions. Okay, from the face expressions we can understand something, right? That if they are in good mood or not, if any one person is in good mood or angry or sad, from the expression we can understand, right? So these are all the methods of communication. Once again we are showing the divisions, methods of communication based on the channel used. It can be divided as formal and informal. So based on the channel used, communication can be divided into formal and informal. And based on the direction of the communication, it can be divided as upward, downward, horizontal, diagonal. And means of the communication, it can be verbal, non-verbal, written and visual. Okay, afterwards we will see in detail. On the basis of the channel used, it can be divided as formal and informal. Formal communication. What do you mean by formal communication? Ensures that communication should occur in a formal format or pattern that is acceptable in an organization, can take place between two strangers at the time of their first meeting. Also called business communication or corporate communication. So formal communication. From the name itself we can understand something. Formality. Sometimes we are using the term formality. We should keep the formality. Okay. Some official conversations or official communications, we need to use formal terms. Okay. And between the friends we are talking, and we are talking to the teachers another way. We are talking to the parents another way. Okay, we are talking to the officials or the senior persons. Like that, the communication will be categorized. And formal communication, we are using some formal pattern or rules before communicating. And informal communication includes free and uninhibited communication between two agents, parties, people having same wavelength, common interest, between friends, family members. If you are communicating to your friends, that communication is termed as informal communication. We are communicating to different persons or any respective persons, that is considered as formal communication. Okay, online chats, long telephonic conversations, and all these things are belong to which one? Informal communication. The next, on the basis of direction, upward, downward, horizontal and diagonal. Upward and downward, two terms we have seen in the first session, right? Upward communication, flow of communication from lower level to upper level of the organization hierarchy. Example, when an employee makes a request, communicate ideas to superior. So, we know that the high to low and low to high range. That means below the manager it will be a subordinates, sub-employees will be there, right? So, when an employee makes a request, communicates ideas to superior. So, employee to manager. That is called from the lower employee to the high manager. That type of communication. Subordinates speaking to the managers. They are considered as the upward communication. Upward communication encourages the active participation of the employees in the functions of their departments. Subordinates develop a sense of responsibility and enthusiasm when superiors listen to them carefully. See, upward communication we said from the lower level to upper level. So, subordinates are speaking to the managers. If the managers, top level persons, if they are accepting the employees or if they accept the suggestions of the employees, they feel very happy, right? And they feel free to say their suggestions, their opinions, and sometimes it can be the successful of that organization. Okay, what confidence, their confidence will increase, like that. Okay, that belongs to the upward communication. Then see, here it is given a picture for the superior to subordinates, that is, and superior, their arrow terms the upward or downward. See, superior to subordinates and subordinates to superiors. Now we have seen the upward communication, the subordinates are talking to the superiors. Next we are going to see the downward communication. There comes what? Superior to the subordinates. Downward communication refers to the communication that flows upward to downward level of organization. When a superior issues an orders and instructions to the subordinates, when a general manager passes orders to the supervisors. That means these are the examples of the downward communication. What do you mean by downward communication? From the superiors talking to the subordinates. That level, that flow is termed as downward communication. Next one is the horizontal communication. Refers to the communication taking place among the members in the same level of the organization. For example, marketing manager may communicate the marketing plan to the production manager. See, both they are in the same level. Managers, they are just having a conversation between their terms, or their communicating. They are communicating. So those persons are in the same level, communicate each other. That communication is termed as horizontal communication. The next one is a diagonal communication. Refers to the communication that takes place between the individuals in different departments and at the different levels of organizational hierarchy. For example, when the head of the department at one branch of a bank communicates with the cashier of other branch. So diagonal. You know the diagonals, no? You just cross like this. Okay. So diagonal means one institution's high level can be high level, the other institution's low level. Okay. From the example, I think you understood. The head of the department of one branch communicates with the cashier of the other branch. Head of the department is where the super top level, and the cashier means the lower level. Okay, so that is called a diagonal communication. So 4 types of communication we have seen here: upward, downward, and horizontal, and the diagonal. Next is on the basis of means used. So which way we are communicating, that is called the basis of means. Okay, so here verbal, non-verbal, written, visual. So verbal communication we already discussed takes place with the help of sounds, words and language. The various languages have been originated from number of sounds and gestures. Effective verbal communication involves people belonging to the different cultures, ages and races. These languages are based on profession, class, geographical location, age group and various other social elements. See, verbal communication we have many times discussed in many ways, right? So language and how the different people are in different culture, they must consider other cultural terms. Everything we have seen. So everything considered as the verbal communication. Usually you must remember one thing. Verbal communication means the communication happens with the help of sounds, language, words. Okay, that is the term you must remember always. Verbal communication. Communication takes place with the help of sounds, words and language. Okay. The spoken communication. The spoken communication is classified into 2 types: interpersonal communication and the public speaking. So, that is verbal communication. Verbal communication is always spoken. That communication is again classified into 2 types: interpersonal communication and public speaking. Interpersonal communication takes place between 2 or more people, generally personal. Simply we are communicating, 2 or more people between communicate, that termed as interpersonal communication. The public speaking involves a single speaker and many audience. Those who are saying a speech, their audience will be there, only one speaker. Okay, that is termed as public speaking. Public speaking addresses a common message about a product or service for a group of. So what is the intention behind this public speaking? So the speaker want to convey something to the audience or to the public. In this type of communication, one has to prepare, practice and perform to become a confident speaker. So those who are in public speaking, they must take care the 3 P's. 3 P's. Why it is called 3 P's? All the terms starts with the P. Prepare, practice and perform. Okay, a public speaker should take care to prepare, practice and perform to become a confident speaker. Why it is called confident? Then after preparing only they can feel free to say something, right? Then practice. They should have the practice also and they should perform nicely. Prepare your topic before you speak about it by making notes. So when you presenting something, we have conducted We are many seminars we are going to conduct. Okay, so that time we are presenting something. So if you are feel free or if you are confident to present something, before that you must prepare. Practice by talking to yourself in front of a mirror, friends or family. This helps you to know about the correct speech and loudness. So if you practice after preparing, you just practice in front of the mirror or in front of your family members, your confidence level will increase, and they will say the opinions, and from the mirror also you can identify how it will be. Okay, from there you can overcome the negative things, negative markings. Then perform. Take a few deep breaths before performing to overcome your nervousness. Sometimes you have some tension, in front of speak. If you speak to somebody, some tensions will be there. So what do you have to do? Take a few deep breaths before performing to overcome your nervousness. By preparing, a speaker can answer the questions asked by the audience with confidence. Another important method of verbal communication is word of mouth, which helps to spread information about a product or service. Word of mouth, that also can be a type of verbal communication. So sometimes you just whenever we hear a product that is good from one, if we are getting from the neighbor, then we can understand that okay, we have a feeling that it is good. And if you got the same thing from another person, so what will you think about that? Okay, the product is good. Okay, so from the word of mouth, the communication will be expanded. The next one is about non-verbal communication. Refers to the kind of communication that involves various characteristics such as tone of the voice, smell, touch and body motion. Some examples are making hand movements to greet someone. Okay, so we are shake hands, we are just when you give the shake hands to others, if you want to greet someone, right? Facial expressions such as smiling shows happiness, frowning shows displeasure, and body postures, making eye contact with the person you are talking to indicates you are interested in talking to that person. If you talk to someone, if you are looking their eyes, what others feel, what is the meaning of that, you are very interested to talk that person. Okay, just talk with that person. And the body postures also show some communication. Facial expressions, if you are in not in good mood, your angry face show something, right? You are angry. Okay, like that facial expressions. So next type of communication is written communication. Involves the use of emails, articles, reports and memos. Written documents need to be edited a number of times before they are conveyed. For example, mobile SMS. Now we are very experienced with the chatting and all, passing messages, right? So that is an example of written communication. We are sending letters, we are giving text messages, whatever it may be, writing. That is called written communication. The next one is visual communication. Involves visual display of information such as photos, formats, signs, code symbols and designs. Example, television, DVDs. See, from there, if I show one picture, you'll get something. Okay, depends on the picture, you'll get an idea about something. You'll get some information. Understood? So visual communication, television. When we see some pictures, you'll get something. DVD, CDs, etc. Or from poster designs. From there we are getting some information. That is considered as the visual communication. So these are the methods of communication. On the basis of channel used, formal communication and informal. On the basis of direction, it can be categorized as upward, downward, horizontal and diagonal. And on the basis of means used, it can be categorized as verbal, non-verbal, written and visual. Okay, that's all about this session 3, and we'll see in the next class. Thank you.